clips.
Man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. People say it, so it's true. And if they diss me, I'll fucking sue. Man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. What a man's gotta do. People say it, so it's true. And if they diss me, I'll fucking sue. Man's gotta do what a man's
Kips clips.
Oh, alrighty, YouTube's another one of Kips Clips, and welcome to the World Info.FR News at 1 Live. Hope you all had a good weekend. This is the island of independence as the Info.FR goes on from all sides. RT, BBC, UK column, just to mention a few. If you objectively go and look at some of the independent journalistic sources, the independent media that's part of a network called the Truther Industrial Complex, if you go and look at the undercurrent of messaging, what they have how they've stirred people up, how they've poked people with a stick, and made people very pliable. If you look at it over a time period, you can see. If you look at it over a long time period, you may see, like myself, some sort of a pattern. Although if you dip into the, let's say, the conspiracy world, oh god, I'm going to have problems here, I know it. But anyway, these things have broke. Anyway, so when the battery runs out, done, and I'm getting the battery low thing, just to explain. But the Truther Industrial Complex, if you look at the pattern over a longevity of time, they've stirred up what we witnessed in the streets over the weekend, or what happened in sporadic pockets up and down the UK. The London one was the main one, wasn't it? That was the head of the snake. That's where everybody's energy was focused. That's where the fighting season became apparent. But within the conspiracy world, if you take all the individual things that are used to, and I'm talking about myself here as well, used to engross us in to believing them. Oh god, there we go. That's them done and dusted. Need to rewire the ship. Oh god, fucking. It's not the weather for these things, is it? But hey ho, needs must. Where am I looking at? Right. So, sorry about this. Going to have a wee look at the UK column. I'd imagine they will.
Not so long ago.
Right, okie doke. So, what do I need to do here? There we go.
Oh, threatening.
Sorted. So, and again, like, I don't know, maybe I'm seeing Jesus in toast, maybe the pattern or the overall, the overriding agenda of alternative media as it's been presented to us which I don't believe is alternative, or a lot of it isn't alternative, full of useful idiots or people who genuinely know that they're serving a clandestine agenda, just like the mainstream media that they point at. So what's good for one is good for the other. But a lot of these people fail to do that and just blindly ignore, apply the standards that you're applying to the BBC to yourselves, and boom shakalaka. UK Column are a NGO, for lack of a better way to describe them. If you go and trace the money, their offices, who they are and who they're associated with. But with the Tommy Robinson effect, we witnessed the result of mass hypnosis, mass brainwashing, and a clear global agenda that on the surface to the foot soldiers is getting presented as nationalism, being patriotic, and it's really just somebody selling you a story to fight for your loyalty, and you can't blame anybody of all sides that are so ball deep or so sold on this propaganda that they're taking to the streets and fucking committing violence and all. Now, that's what happens when you poke an angry mob with even... Oh! That's what happens when you poke a camera with a stick. That's what happens when you poke an angry mob with a stick. They get angry and then fucking go and do angry stuff. This isn't unpredictable. In hindsight now, it's even unfair to even like point a finger of blame at Tommy Robinson in essence, because he's just a useful idiot, isn't he? He's been used. He's the one that's rotting in jail. He's been used by particular people pushing a particular global agenda, and then wrapping it up in the English flag, the Union Jack or the Saltire or whatever it is to make you think with your heart and not your head. Oh, that's my fucking flag! Well, who's flying it and for what reason? And they tickle your balls for why? Anyway, I digress. Welcome one and all. Hopefully you appreciate it. Thumbs it up, share it with your friends, family, foes. Please help the show and the channel grow. I rely on you guys at home because YouTube no longer does the cross promotion with the algos as much as they did or ever did or whatever. So welcome one and all. Once it loads in, if it loads in, I'll say hi to the folks in the chat. Mick Vicker, how you doing, my man? Apple Charlotte, the artist formerly known as Tony, Mr. Brown, Tazzy, in the afternoon, guys and girls. I've got BBC and RT there as well, which I'll be having a look at. Adrian and Emsra, how you doing? And Anon Mouse in the house as well, and Mr. Brown in the town. Well, I'm a poet and don't know it. So I wanted to kick off with the UK column to see. I'd imagine they will touch on the Tommy Robinson stuff, and it will be interesting to see how they do it. Now, when you see the scenes, maybe it was all crisis actors, who knows? But when you see the scenes, oh man, look at the big baldy Mike. Seen his heyday when he was fit as a fiddle, not fat as a porker. Nowadays, he would have fitted right in at that front line, wouldn't he? Yeah, you couldn't tell him. Anyway, I digress. So let's see if they touch on it, and if they do touch on it, how they spin and conjecture and stuff. It's mental, right? It's mental because there is no sign of independence and no sign of being objective. And this is how you can spot these for the propagandist agents that they are. They'll predominantly only supply you with information and narratives that will will back up one side of the argument or demonise one side of the argument. and never be objective. So let's see. And I've already witnessed it and tune in on Tuesday to witness the barrage of the Truther Industrial Complex running interference for the Tommy Robinson Army. The Tommy Robinson Drone Army. Attack of the Drones is here, folks.
To be, who knows, Mike, the G6?
It's looking that
It's the Monotone Ranger. How you doing? I'm an American patriot fighting for American freedoms. Sitting in London, talking about shit in Syria on a network set up to harness British patriotism. Yes, the irony isn't lost on the thousands, if not millions of viewers that watch this shite. That you've got UK column presented to you by an American and an Irishman. A leprechaun and a dumb cowboy yank, the Monotone Ranger.
most important thing to do. And she said, good afternoon. This was her briefing afterwards. She said, at this G7 summit, we have discussed a range of issues, including the vital importance of defending democracy and the rules-based international system.
G7!
Free and fair global trade and the need for equal opportunities for all our citizens and the need to protect our oceans. So this is fantastic stuff. She said, foreign interference in our democratic
Right, it's junk.
and other forms of malign state activity to strengthen here to implement as the framework for enabling free and fair global trade. But some people feel that activity. Now,
An investigative body to
If you didn't get that, everybody apart from Putin and Russia that's involved in the G7's bad, okay? Got it? Good.
transform them into a kind of a jury or a legislative body to sort of
Oh, speak with passion, cowboy.
adjudicate blame for any so-called chemical weapons attack. That's number one. That changes the whole character and the whole purpose of the organization and their role. And any neutrality, Mike, can go right out the window at that point. And by the way, this is not unlike the International Criminal Court, which I might remind everybody the United States doesn't support and hasn't signed on to. And then coordinated attribution of hostilities. Is that right?
yes, the coordinated attribution of hostile activity is how they phrased it.
So to streamline the response, so in other words, to sort of give some sort of legal framework to what we saw on April 13th, a couple of months ago with the tripartite strike on Syria, which was based on a YouTube video. And then number three is to sort of streamline the common narrative. So in other words, we need to get our messaging together. We need everybody on the same page.
Kinda like the Truther Industrial Complex has lined up with the same narrative about Syria, about lots of things. Just something to think about.
With whatever the official explanation is for the YouTube videos, for instance. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, Mike.
It's kind of ridiculous, members of the Truther Industrial Complex sitting here and criticising the other side for trying to use YouTube videos to propagandise people. Says the American sitting in the UK column studio fighting for British nationalism, American nationalism. I don't know, I'm confused. Monotone Ranger, fuck knows what you doing in Britain again. Fuck off and fucking fight for gun rights and save America. Make America great again, cowboy. Irishman, what do you think about Britain coming out of the EU, you know, like leaving a union? Yeah, dirty Tina Turd, I love it, dirty Tina Turd. Leprechaun, where's my gold? And then, hey, Irishman, what do you think about Ireland leaving the Union of the United Kingdom? No, dirty Tina Turd, no, dirty Tina Turd, where's my pot of gold? It's a wee bit of a hypocritical stance there. I mean, like, what's your reason for wanting Britain to leave the European Union? Is it about returning sovereignty? Like people having home rule? Dirty Tina Turd, yes it is, dirty Tina Turd, it's all good, always good. Dirty Tina Turd, woo! Dirty Tina Turd, where's my pot of gold? Rainbow! And then, what about Northern Ireland having the same ability? No! Dirty Tina Turd, where's my goodness, my pot of gold? No way! Rule Britannia! Anyway, sorry, just wanted to point out the hypocrisies. And if you want to hear basically what their guys are saying, cut out the middleman. Go directly to Vanessa Beeley's Twitter and media stuff and Facebook and YouTube. Ha! These people are propagandising people using YouTube. Now go to Vanessa Beeley's YouTube channel to find out the latest on Syria. Make sense to anybody?
It's almost turning into a comedy skit, so I apologize to everybody for our sarcasm, but it's kind of getting to that point where this is
the hypocrisies of all
yet,
news.
Here we are at the G7.
It's turning into a comedy
putting this
skit.
forward as an agenda. Quite amazing.
Absolutely. Now, Donald Trump left early. Much to the chagrin of everybody else that was there, which is why we've seen, was it Macron suggesting it might be a G6 in future?
He did. Macron did drift that out, possibly a G6.
So. But why were they so upset with Trump? Well,
right, okay, let's analyse it. The people that are warning you about the New World Order are strangely the people that keep propagating, gloating and propagating and gloating some more about all the old world orders, institutions, men's clubs, power cliques, elite douchebag clubs falling apart. It's crazy that it's almost like it's a weird contradiction. The people that are warning us about the New World Order are, if you go and analyse the information they're putting out, could arguably be part of an information war getting fought against the existing world order institutions. Like the ones of the G8. Oh, no, the G7. Oh, no, the G6. Fucking hell. Can you see what it is yet? Or what about the United Nations? You know what I mean? We all know in conspiracy world how bad the United Nations are. But hey, fear the New World Order, and that's going to come around by keeping the status quo. No, the New World Order is going to come around by destroying all the existing institutions which apparently keep the order in the world. Whether you think they're doing a good job or not, objectively look at this. I mean, if you're just like sort of following what you think's right, decentralise it. Power corrupts. Oh God, man, I even hate saying that shit anymore. But it stands to be true to a certain extent. Power corrupts absolutely, and that used to be understood. A lot of the systems of government that were offered up and agreed upon by many men because they had separation of powers, because people understood the concentration of power in certain areas as too much, and nobody talks about that anymore. Anyway.
In fact, he was even suggesting that Russia should be brought back into it. So there seems to be an absolute disparity here between the European leadership and the United States.
Right, let's see if they talk about Tommy Robinson.
In a second. 5.
No, let me just explain what's going on here, Mike, quickly. So,
break it down into small, digestible chunks. Why don't you, Monotone Ranger?
If you look at the actual policies of what's happened over the last couple of weeks, or let's say the last month, especially with regards to U.S. threats against, for instance, Germany for its work on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline with Russia. Take a look at that for a minute. Look at Emmanuel Macron's statements at the International Economic Forum in St. Petersburg only 2 weeks ago, sitting next to Putin and being very conciliatory, talking about working together, signing a deal.
Look at the information he's putting out right now. He's taking part in the information war that's going on between competing energy providers with Gazprom and all the other entities and all the resources that Gazprom have and whatnot. He's running interference for the opposite side.
A provisional deal anyway, small deal, but a start with Total, French petroleum company. Look at these. So Europe, Mike, probably wants Russia back in the G8 as well, but they don't want it to be Trump's idea or Trump's initiative. If this came from a European leader, then
running cover for Trump,
the U.S. would probably naturally put pressure on.
Not fair to the people of America. $800 billion trade.
Propagating Trump's message, sitting there without a Trump t-shirt on, telling you all Trump's talking points, going, no, honestly, we're independent. We're not here to promote Trump's global politics, which fits in with your Tommy Robinson people. Just saying. Let us see, are they going to actually talk about this Tommy Robinson thing?
The statement that Trump had made
by the European leaders.
G7.
Came, not surprised my there and sat. Well, we've been saying this for quite a long time, and I've said this many times on
Bigfoot's real.
various segments on other networks that you have to understand
In other networks? Oh, right, so you've been in other networks continuously since when I first seen you on InfoWars years ago, but then you're presented as part of, you're an independent journalist, but you're only allowed to be part of that network because you're putting out the information that network's job is to promote. It's like a big Ponzi scheme, and whether they openly admit it to each other or not, they know exactly what's going on. And that's why so many of them are going under now, because YouTube pulled the plug on them.
In terms of the what they call the global order presently, with the U.S. at the helm, the power that the U.S. has and has wielded since this post-World War II period, part of this has to do with the reserve currency of the dollar. Of course, that's a big thing, and the petrodollar. And also another part has to do with projecting military power, or more importantly, exporting security, as is more recently known as the sort of raison d'etre of the Pentagon. But the other big
I like purple crayons. It's so I don't take my eye out. Pencils and pens are far too sharp for me. So I done a health and safety vet of my workspace, and it came up. There was an app for it, and the app recommended someone of your mental ability should be using crayons. So, Charlotte, that's what I'm doing.
Big thing, the real power, Mike, the real power in this world order, with the U.S. at the helm, okay, comes with the U.S. being perceived as an honest broker, which can settle disputes between countries or take a
oh shit, man, he's still talking.
Role in moving forward.
If he ever stops making money in the Truth Industrial Complex, he could always get a job as reading children's books. His voice would fucking put your kids to sleep like that.
And moving through disputes.
Okay, well, Trump left early, as we know, from the G7 and headed off to Singapore, where, of course, he, agreements with Singapore.
Oh, Gino Macarino.
And herrings are inserted in the
North Korea. They're really working very well with it.
North Korea, Trump's amazing.
Definitely.
He's a
rock star.
Security and so on. But, they're not talking the language of war. President Xi said Shandong is the home province of Confucius and the birthplace of Confucianism, an integral part of Chinese civilization. Confucianism believes that a just cause should be pursued for the common good and champions harmony, unity, and a shared community for all nations. He said its emphasis on unity and harmony has much in common with the Shanghai spirit, namely mutual trust, mutual benefit, equality, consultation, respect for diverse civilizations.
Telling you how good the BRICS are. And that's a big bunch of elite, rich douchebags, just like Bilderberg is. But the BRICS don't want negative press on them. They want positive press, just like the UK column just provided right there. And the BRICS also want negative press of the elite rich douchebags of the Bilderbergers. And I don't know if that what I said there, if there's a resonance of truth to it, or it resonates with you, then you understand that the UK column predominantly put out that kind of messaging, aka they're a propaganda side for the BRICS collective.
And for natural resources, only going to increase in the next.
I Belton Road and
eyebrows on the cover of a mail paper, Mike. Of course,
are they not going to touch on Tommy Robinson
Banks and Andy Wigmore, who were heading the sort of Leave EU campaign back when the referendum was happening, and they had met with Yakovenko.
Again, laughing at the insinuation that Putin aka the Russian Federation, entities behind the BRICS, would have a dog in the fight to steer Brexit in a particular way as part of a destabilisation campaign that foreign entities might have against their foreign enemies, just like the way the West does. Like, these will tell you the West does that in Russia and China, but then they won't. It gets met with a sneer, as if like you're a crazy conspiracy theorist. Ring a bell if you dare to suggest that Putin, capture all Russian-fed BRICS entities, have a dog in the fight to steer the Brexit election in a direction they want for their financial benefit. And the fact that they can't acknowledge that, and they're meant to be intelligent news analysts, well, to me, they're lying. Anyway, it tells me they're lying.
We're not sure.
Oh, he's got a smile on his face, look. Is the Botox holding
It's just
out?
part of a scheduled propaganda campaign of anti-Russian stories that they need to fill a certain amount of paper column inches on the front pages of the dailies with anti-Russian stories. I don't know, like 10 a week or something like that.
Yeah, sure, but in fairness,
No, and the reason they're doing that is because they're bad people, not because there's an information war going on that we're the opposite side to.
you know, in the United States, you've managed to get 18 months out of a similar story.
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. We're going on.
James Wolfe, of course, is security director on the 8th of June. And
Then the UK nationalists telling you about the internal goings on in US politics with a distinct pro-Trump accent.
he has to appear.
But they love
that was
Britain.
leaked, to the
This Irish guy on the UK column and this American on the UK column, they've only got British people's best interests at heart. That's all.
press in these top lists in very important in Syria. It's very interesting.
Absolutely. But sanctions on Iran continue to ramp up.
Well, this
Gino Macchiarino. Right, let's see what RT's saying here. Now, here's my prediction about RT, and this will I think this is going to be true. Right, I think this is going to be very obvious in the next month. The World Cup is coming, and RT, and what they do, they don't want to poke a stick with anybody too much in the next month, because they want plain sailing going back the other way, because their primary goal will be positive propaganda about the World Cup. That's my prediction. So RT and its watered down, stupefied news at the best of times, with people rapping it to you and all that, and go, oh look, RT must be telling you the truth, they've got a YouTube star on as a talking head. After that guy slagged all the talking heads on mainstream media, now he's a talking head on mainstream media. Whew! But anyway, I digress. So watch a space for RT being dumbified even more.
Headlining this hour, Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un are in Singapore for that highly anticipated US-North Korea summit, which is hoped will cap the recent spike in tension and uncertainty on the Korean peninsula. As national teams from across the globe are ready for the
World Cup.
some media outlets continue to push stereotypes about those infamous Russian football hooligans.
Go football! Oh God!
Came here to find those thugs you see on TV.
Where can I find the hooligans?
There are no hooligans, there are only fans.
I can't remember how BBC disgustingly propagandised a sport the other week there. I can't remember the details of it, but they did. I remember being like, oh my God. And then look at this, 9 just negative story about idiots in the UK. Reminding British people how dumb some of us are.
Part of our culture now, and I think the games.
But RT's doing that because they love the British people. So, let's...
Hello, with 24/7 Global News, this is RT International. I'm Colin Bray. Welcome to this hour's bulletin. First off for you, an historic meeting between the leaders of America and North Korea. Now,
Well, it doesn't look like their 1 o'clock news is any richer than the news I was watching earlier. Trump and Kim Jong-un meeting. And hey, let's hope for peace and it's all going to be good and all that, right? But call me sceptical, as seeing it as being a larger part of the struggle between American corporate interests, the Anglo-American alliance corporate interests in the South China Sea, and China's corporate interests in the South China Sea. And then they do a lot of World Cup stuff about the hit pieces the BBC, showing, dissecting hit pieces the BBC have done. Then they talk about a 9-year-old girl in the UK being in rehab for a computer game or something. I mean, that's like tabloid shit. But I'm not saying this isn't. If you think it's just negativity about the UK, it's part of a larger messaging that RT puts out. Then they talk about face bagging fake news again, and Macron bad, not macaroons. Macron, the French president, no, president. I'm pretty sure the French have a president. God, I need to clarify that in my nut. Anyway, so there's RT talking about how good Trump is for doing this meeting.
Will all be choreographed through with the Mr. President and Mr. Kim. Each side will try to add some steps to get advantage.
The question that hovers over many decisions is who will choose the menus? What will they drink if Trump's a teetotal? And then there's the touch.
Let's see what the BBC's offering, is he?
A book can lead us to new worlds and experiences.
He's met Singapore's
news channel.
And the big vagina, that building.
President Trump says there's excitement in the air in Singapore as he prepares for his summit with North Korea's leader. He's met Singapore.
I don't think that's excitement. I think it's
the United States says it
the electrolytes.
Flimsy promises from Kim Jong-un.
He has made it clear that if Kim Jong-un denuclearizes, there is a brighter future for North Korea. Tomorrow, we will get our clearest indication to date of whether Chairman Kim Jong-un truly shares this vision.
We'll be asking how much could be achieved at this extraordinary summit tomorrow, also this lunchtime. A ship carrying 600 migrants is drifting in the Mediterranean after Italy and Malta.
I don't know about you. I wouldn't half suck in all these watered down leading headlines at the start of the news if it wasn't for the it's almost like, you know what it's like? It's almost like the beat a pendulum or a metronome in front of you would be keeping. It's almost like the fucking building blocks of any bit of fucking electro fucking dance shit. Repetitive fucking beats that get you in a trance-like state because it's like your brain's seeing the pattern like that. Boom, boom, boom. I don't know. Listen to it though, man. It's fucking crazy, but that is the effect it has. That's why maybe sitting and pausing it every 30 seconds and seeing what the Illuminati o'clock it is. I don't know, see if this works, right?
Refused to take them. The UN calls for a swift resolution. Another blow to the high street. 5,000 jobs at risk as the discount retailer Pound World goes into administration.
Oh my God! I'll buy it for £1. Hey, how much is Pound World going for? £1. I think we should chip in 20 pence each. Go 5 ways. We'll buy Pound World for £1. I mean, what can they sell it? They can't sell it for any less than £1, can they? Then you can get them done for false advertising. Hey, see, I'm on the ball. I've got lawyers queuing up to take this case and let me buy Pound World for £1. No, just a pretty face.
The focus has to be on volume. And if you're not achieving volume out of the store,
the focus has to be in the background beat.
A year after Grenfell tragedy, the Prime Minister apologises for the initial response to the blaze and says she regrets not meeting the survivors. And the Brits triumph on Broadway as Harry Potter, Glenda Jackson and Andrew Lloyd Webber all pick up Tony Awards.
Tony? Our Tony? My God. He's a funny looking dude.
After an historic first win over England, Scotland's head coach says the aim for his side now...
Get it round you, England. We beat you at cricket. My God. That's like the Scots beating the Arabs at Sandcastle building. Shouldn't be done. They've got more sand, you see.
And welcome to the BBC News at 1. President Trump says there is excitement in the air in Singapore. The US Secretary of State says tomorrow's summit with the North Korean leader has enormous potential.
Oh man, I just don't believe them that much anymore that I'm not going boom 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 boom. Where's the disco music, BBC? I wanted give me some disco fucking beats when I want to listen to the news. Come on.
Past, and America would be satisfied with nothing less than the complete, verifiable and irreversible denuclearization.
And hop on one leg wearing a chicken suit and go back, and all is forgiven. It's all we need. It's all we need for peace. Anyway, let's have a wee shifty to the UK column and see if they do touch on this Tommy Robinson's. If they don't talk about it on the Monday after, it's quite telling, isn't it?
Just, quite an amazing story here. So Nike will not outfit the Iranian World Cup soccer team or football team due to sanctions against Iran. So this is really what I think bad foreign policy getting into sort of contaminate sports. What exactly?
Just like this. The UK column touching on sports. An American sitting in the UK column talking about football. Ain't got a clue.
Now.
Okay, well, Donald Trump obviously looking forward to meeting
Stoltenberg not already in Italy as well. So it's for someone like Italy.
Again, cheering the rise of the populists in Italy.
Wants to go into
an American sitting in the UK column studio talking about British sovereignty.
Looks like a kind of reformist phase right now with the new Five-Star League coalition led government. Things like this could be problematic. So you're going to see, Mike, the envoys and the emissaries from Brussels really put
mobile phones himself, so perhaps to join the club of two becomes a club of three. This is reflected again in his speech today. Again,
and they're talking about the Al Bundy fear. They'll tell you about how bad Facebook tracks you and all that, and then they'll go and use Yandex. Swapping one data miner for another, and these people will point you in the direction of all the Russian BRICS data miners. Coincidentally enough, it's just a coincidence though. Used Yandex, folks. Anyway, let's enter about Tommy Robinson riots.
Discussion of any of this.
Digital lives. In other words, how this for. I encourage people to go check out Jonathan's work. Great art, and so they've. I think it's
an Act of Parliament, which is the 1972 European Communities Act, and then brings all the full body of EU legislation formally onto the British statute books. So, of course, there's been quite a number of amendments made to that in the House of Lords, which has driven a whole lot of angst against the House of Lords over the last couple of months. People calling.
Give me a thumbs up now. Does anybody really think this is quite telling, the fact that these people aren't touching on this?
For the House of Lords to be scrapped once again, replaced with some kind of...
It's like, what do they say? How do they kind of spin it to, like... yeah, it was only a few people. Nah, it looked like squads running the front. It looked like a bunch of football hooligans rushing the cops. And a lot of people hyped up, doing a lot of hyped up shit.
contentious questions at stake in the Brexit process have been tacked onto the bill with the avowed intention of damaging the Brexit. And MPs there have the opportunity to agree with or undo any of the changes that the House of Lords has made. But then he was speaking on the Andrew Marr show yesterday morning, and of course the big problem, just one example of the problems that the current
it's not even so much the story that they're touching on. It's information bullets as part of the the anti and the pro-Brexit movement stuff, which is all wrapped up in the larger shifting of the sands of the political landscape globally, I do believe. It's to get caught up in one side or the other and not go to the genesis of the problem, which is the systems of government and the systems behind a lot of the institutions which produce our leaders and the attitude and the people that lord it above us. That's the genesis of a lot of these problems that are used. The genesis of a lot of the problems that are used to rile the great masses are never addressed. Never addressed. Austerity hits because it's wartime economy. Also the place getting flooded with refugees and stuff, and it's going to turn the poor against the poorer again. Exact same tactic Maggie Thatcher done.
Stabbed in the back, which unfortunately is what we said would happen. But I come back to the original point, which is why did anybody trust this particular government to do what?
They only do about 40 minutes. That is unbelievable that they are not touching on the Tommy Robinson thing.
Of the Korean Peninsula. Laura Bicker is in Singapore for us and sent us this report.
Excitement is in the air, according to President Trump. A new era of engagement.
But this is only the start. Laura's already hinted at it. There's a regime as a result.
For those on board, Richard Lister reports.
Marooned in the Mediterranean, these are some of the 629 rescued migrants.
The new Italian populists are knocking back ships of refugees and they're stuck in limbo between Malta and Italy. Crazy world, crazy world.
A winning formula. Chains.
2 for a pounder. Oh no, that doesn't work in pound world. 1 for a pounder. 1 for a pounder. I'll buy pound world. How much are you going to offer? £1. I think you could just open it up and... Do you know what? I think here's a brilliant business plan. Maybe the banks will loan to me. Right, buy pound world for £1. Right, because that's self-explanatory. And then turn it into 99 pence world. Now, you'll need to take a cut of profits by that 1 pence that you're going cheaper than your average pound store, right? But you're going to make that back by your footprint of customers, because when there's a 99 pence store and there's a pound store, what store are you going to go to? What store are you going to go to? Logically, you're going to go to a 99 pence store. Do you want to know why? Because it's 90 fucking penny cheaper. Do you know what I mean? It's all self-explanatory. This is the best business plan ever. Anyway, I'll buy Poundland for £1, please.
In a way of what's going on the high street.
You're at the higher end of the...
Crazy. They were tickling your balls with House of Fraser's, I think it was, or Fraser's or whatever it's called, going under last week. Now they're tickling the middle class people with the House of Fraser's. Now they're balls. Now they're tickling the working class with what, your pound store's going to shut down. I still think my business plan of the 99 pence store. Think Poundland, pound store. Everything's been done. Time for in the new era 99 pence land. 99ers. Oh, 99 and £9.99 and £999 store. See, and you could he could have stock for every class of people. Right, poor cunts, there's the £99 store. Middle class, stuff for a tenner, £99.99. And use people with a wee bit more moolah. Here's your £99.99 stuff. Beautiful, like, see the creativity. Yeah, I mean, these are business plan gold. Anyway, sorry.
But that she personally got it wrong by failing to meet with the survivors and the relatives in the immediate aftermath. Yes, Mrs. May did go to the site and she met with the police and the fire service, but she didn't talk to those directly affected. Now, politically, of course, that was a profound mistake because it conveyed an impression that the government was somehow indifferent to the tragedy and to the plight facing those affected. But also, personally, I think we get a sense that Mrs. May is aware that it just demonstrated a lack of compassion and...
See, this is like the creative genius that you get in a brainstorming fucking meeting. I mean, like, a £2 store as well. Maybe you could just, like, right, we buy all the Poundland stores up, each one for £1, and then we turn half into £2 stores and half into 99p stores, right? And then it's brilliant. You can serve... There's another market just created out of thin air by a meme.
Empathy, and she writes in this article that it is something she will always regret. Interestingly, just a week or so later, we had the Finsbury Park Mosque.
Oh, hold on a sec. What we could do is we could do the £6.66 shop. And we could you could get all these Satanists and just have like black priests or whatever walking about throwing toilet water. That's what Satanists use, honestly, to curse everything in the shop.
Attack, and Mrs. May did go to meet the local community very swiftly after that, a recognition, I think, even then, that she'd got it wrong. Elsewhere in the article, she promises to the local community that they will now lead in deciding what...
Right, let's check in with the UK column.
My last thing I'm going to say about...
There is a third choice, which is another whipped upper... Patrick, thank you for joining us. We will be back at the same time tomorrow, 1 p.m. We will see you then.
Wow, fucking we. Wow, we. How can you not... They know that a lot of the UK supporters are now tuned in, right, with Tommy, right? That's an absolute fact and not an accident, I would argue, right? It's the bread trail that people unfortunately fell for. In my humble opinion, a lot of people fell for. And it's no surprise that through a lot of our journeys going down in the dark, dank rabbit holes, no light, no space, just down these wee tubes where everything's laid out for you, and a lot of these tubes line you up to think, Tommy Robinson's, the stuff he preaches is reality, and not, you can't see through it anymore. So thank you, UK column, for completely blanking the whole Tommy Robinson thing. Now we'll do another.
Patrick.
Great to be with you, Mike.
And also joining us is David.
Oh look, it's got different talking heads and a different background. It's another show.
Ellis from Strategic Defence Initiatives, and also Brian Garrick.
Again, go and check out who Strategic Initiative thing is. It's just a name they made up and gave themselves. It's nothing, there's no trace. These are people that have fucking been brought on board to the UK column, and to give them an year of independence, they had to make up gang names. True story. It's to make them look like they're all not literally working out the same office. Right, that's a farce by the UK column. Not touching on that. Let's see how the RT's coming along. Whoop. Forgot to pause that.
Speed up deportation. There's also been the changes.
Well, it looks like they're still doing the same tripe. They talked about Trump for a long time and Kim Jong-un deal. Then the World Cup get a big massive blast. It's kicking off on Thursday. This is their ability to advertise. Then they talk about a 9-year-old in rehab for addiction. Whew. All forms of craziness. And RT's just telling you that, not to upset you, but because they want to help you as a British citizen. And then Facebook, fake news, rinse and repeat, anti-Facebook shit. But hey, why don't you go and try out the Russian social networks? They don't track you as much as Facebook. And Macron's bad, talking about fermenting and propagating political unrest in France, because that is RT's job. No, I mean, they're just a truther network. So that's pretty much what you're going to get out of RT.
To the labour laws here in France, which people see as making...
Oh dear, I think I've fucked that up. But I have monitored it earlier on in the day.
What should happen with the burnt out...
Negligence, manslaughter and
anti-NHS stuff.
Gallagher. One at Clive Coleman has been to meet her just to warn you.
Absolute norm. It was every day. It was like...
Ooh, beautiful. We have to warn...
이거? 떠서
Where the hell's that coming from?
여보세요?
형님 같아? 강훈이.
여보세요?
Oh God.
예, 전화 받습니다.
강훈이나 강훈이.
황선수 일단 생일을 축하한다고 텅버문을.
Hold on to say, I don't even know where this is coming from. So annoying. Hold on. It's the craziest shit ever. Oh, right. That was freaking me out, man. I was like, get some sort of a fucking... Anyway, it's RT's North Korean exclusive access documentaries going on there. But what I was going to do is figure out the rest of the BBC's. Talking about abortion and rape. Don't listen to that. Listen to Tommy Robinson ilk telling you London is falling and multiculturalism is to blame. And then what they'll do is they'll either fabricate, make up, manipulate video clips of brown or black gangsters doing gangster shit, attacking people and doing all sorts of fucking craziness, and point to that as evidence. And people will see that and go, oh, it's not a false narrative, it's real. Fucking Tony Awards. Fucking royal tour and then the weddings. So that's me. I've done an hour. Thanks for joining, everybody. Tune in on Tuesday when I'll be showing some of the video footage that's... Oh God, what am I doing? It's not what I want to do. It's not cricket. So thumbs it up, share it with your friends, family, foes. I'm going to say hi to everybody in the chat, which is over that way even. Make sure you tune in on Tuesday. We'll go through some of the footage and some of the interference that is obviously some of the ludicrous, unlogical in my opinion, ludicrous, unlogical trains of thought to try and justify what's happening down there, and not that it's a lot of people that have been successfully wound up, poked with a stick, wound up like a wee set of chattering teeth and sent off in one direction, and you can't even really blame them for it. I mean, I don't know, and I think if it's and it's clear who the vast majority of the foot soldiers are. They're kind of like, I even hate to say it because it's like putting somebody in a big group, but it's like your football firms, it's like your gangsters and all that think they're defending Britain from Muslims and not getting used as pawns and foot soldiers on the street to affect the political discourse, and changing it for geopolitical reasons and nothing to do with fucking making things better for us. Anyway, I digress. Hopefully you've appreciated that. There's going to be a hangout open for anybody that wants to come and join. Let me just share the details of that. I'm also going to I'll do it as a talk, which is always good trying to multitask, but I'll stick the hangout link not also in the chat, which is that way, I believe, or that way, can't remember right now. I'll put it below the clip, so it shall be there as well if you want to hit a wee refresh, just like I'm showing you how you do it on your tablet or whatever, I do not know. And there's online is hold on a second. I lie! He lies! He lies! Hold on, did I click save? I can click save. Jesus Jones. Let me see, did I put in the right one? Yeah. No, it's there. It's there actually. I don't know why it's not showing up. I think, as always, Google's consistently changing and a lot of their shit does not work. But the hangout is there. I'm going to say hi to people in the chat, share that way, and then batter into the chat room, and I will set it up for everybody, and you can hang around for as long or as little time as you want. Richie, how you doing, my man? Nice to see you in the chat. Tazzy, good afternoon, Taz. Hope you're all good. Roberto Carlos, how you doing, my man? Vadum, how you doing, buddy? Maria in the afternoon. There's Apple. Charlotte, how you doing, Charlotte? Tazzy, Richie, Mick Vicker, how you doing, buddy? Mr. Brown in the town. Good afternoon. The artist formerly known as Tony, how you doing, buddy? I don't know why, but just something went off in my head there, like Tony's neck of the woods with that stabbing, wasn't there? Something else happened? Don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. I thought there was maybe another fucking some bit of bullcrap coming out of Greenock. Good afternoon, Dino. How you doing, my man? Hope you had fun with Jamesy Boy over the weekend. Gary, Society of the Spectre, how you doing, buddy? Good afternoon. And that's all I've got there, so hopefully I've said hi to you all. If not, Illuminati confirmed. Tune in tomorrow afternoon for another World InfoWar News at 1 live, and tomorrow evening at 10 for the World InfoWar, not the InfoWars Nightly News even. I'll open up a hangout at the end as well if anybody wants to come on and say anything they like. Got to be focusing on some of the content with regards to what happened up and down the country, and even fucking Australia and Italy. All the coordinated it's mental. There's all these nationalists, populist, alt-right nationalist parties in these countries, and they're all coordinating globally, and nobody sees the irony in that. And then even question, why are they all coordinating? Why are they all singing about the same shit? It's not just nationalism, they're using the same stuff. Oh, anyway. Plain as day. So good afternoon one and all. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. Tune in tomorrow. Have a good afternoon. Make the most of it. Link is below. If anybody does want to join. Alright to YouTube's catchies. Work. Goddamn you.